Here's this 20-inch Sears box fan. This is their premium model, or was their premium model. And this is the last variant of a Lasco box fan with the penthouse control panel. This is a Lasco product. Sears played around with OEMs for a little bit for their fans. Originally, I believe most of them were Burstead. And then they switched from Burstead to Vernco. They carried with Vernco for a while, and then they used Lasco up till the very end. I think on occasion I think like during the 90s and 2000s, they stopped having fans made for them. I believe they had the Kenmore name slapped on the fans throughout the early 2000s and into the 2010s, which were Homes, Rebadges, and some other Chinese company that was rebadging them, but that's not that important. Those fans are kind of junk anyway. But this one's also kind of a piece of junk, but it's really cool. So, things to note on this: the corners are rounded. It's not a complete square. So I'm thinking that this fan was could be from the 1980 era. I'm not 1980, 1990 era. And another thing that makes me kind of think that is I've seen there was a variant of this that was under a Galaxy name. It was a 2-speed only, and it had these rounded corners. The only difference was it had a different blade. Now, the blade that's on this one is not original. This came off another one I have. This one has the full vented wagon wheel hub, which has better motor ventilation. That's the reason why that's on there, but the original blade for this was the one that still had the nub sticking out the front with the center, or one piece that's kind of cut out of it. So that was what the original blade set looked like, which not too different from this, but it's the dark brown plastic D blade that all the Lascos had of the era. But later on they switched to a one where the blade's more of a cone shape, kind of like what's on the 90s era Lascos. Center hub's cone shaped. I don't think I have an example of one on hand. I have one I need to pick up at my friend's house at some point. But we'll fire it up first. We'll do high speed. Here's medium. The grills on this rattle for some reason. When I originally got this fan, they had tape along all the corners of the grill to keep it from vibrating. It's mostly the front grill, but the back one kind of rattles a little bit with the rattle from the control panel, so it kind of rattles from all over. Here's low speed. This has the plastic Marco motor, of course, and with this being a late model, it has a 2-piece motor strut, which I'll show eventually. Have a nice, calm, low speed. I feel like this is a little bit faster than these normally are, but this is still very nice. In terms of box fans, these are one of my favorites just because of the noise. This one definitely looks better than most of the more bland Lasco ones, but geez, the sounds that these make is just amazing. This sounds amazing. Now, when I first started collecting, one of the first box fans I got was a 2-speed Eastern Electric version. And that one had the wagon wheel hub and the more squared off corners. So that was the first vintage box fan I ever owned, and I love that thing. I used to sleep with it every single night, and it was the best sounding fan ever. And recent years, I actually have been using another one of these that I was using, not this brand, but it was a Galaxy that I found on the side of the road. I used that a couple years back, and I haven't used really one recent times. I used one at a friend's house. He had a Galaxy as well. When I was staying over there, I used that. And then when we had friends staying over here recently, we used a different Sears box fan one I'll show a bit later in this video. But this thing's great. It's an awesome fan. It has a really nice sound to it. And, yeah. So, That's the low speed. Go back to high and then turn it off the thermostat. So I had to do a rebuild on the thermostat. The one that was in this was very stiff. And the thermostats on these are so cheap. It's a piece of plastic. And in the plastic there's a bimetallic strip and then 2 copper contacts and a threaded insert into the plastic body of the switch that the knob attaches to. And the only real way to calibrate the thermostat is by removing the knob and moving it ever so slightly. It's very cheesy. It's very cheap how they did it. It works, but barely. I had to do a lot of work to get the thermostat in this thing to work again, but it's been working as of now. Fire it up again on, and I'll show you some of the, I'll show you the power draw that I'm getting off of it. We'll do low speed first. So on low speed we got 1.4 amps, almost 1 amp exactly. Actually do watts too. 84.5 watts. Medium speed we got 1.34 amps. Keep wanting to change the speed. And 113 watts. High speed could have 1.91 amps and 161 watts. Now 160 watts. And this has a visible power factor of 0.67, which isn't that bad, but it's still pretty well. Spin down once again to the off switch. Can't keep the kilowatts meter up, and there's our tripod kick for the video. Now that it's warmed up, the spin down's a bit better. I've noticed I have to let this fan run for a little while until the blade on it spins kind of freely. I haven't used it in a little while, but about a couple weeks ago I did a rebuild of this one. I cleaned up the case, cleaned up the grills, fixed the thermostat, took apart the motor and cleaned it. Me and Alex Dufu did it. So, yeah. Thanks very much for watching, and keep the breeze. Oh, and I forgot to say this. I never really had these growing up. I didn't know of them until I became a collector when I saw a video about one of these from Tori the Fan Man. Okay, that's everything I have to say. Thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.